So we will continue with the meeting. Today we're dealing with petition number P003618, Save from Where. Before we begin, can I remind members, witnesses and persons in the public gallery to turn off their mobile phones. I would like to welcome Mr Paul Kavanagh, the petitioner, and Mr Tommy Lawton, and thank you all for appearing before the committee. You are invited here today to discuss petition number P00036/18, Save the from Where. I advise our witnesses to turn off their mobile telephones as they interfere with the sound system and it will interfere with the broadcasting of the meeting. Before I ask you to address this meeting, I wish to draw to your attention the fact that by virtue of section 17.2 of the Defamation Act 2009, witnesses are protected by absolute privilege in respect of their evidence to this committee. However, if you are directed by the committee to cease giving evidence in relation to a particular matter and you continue to do so, you are entitled thereafter only to qualify privilege in respect of your evidence. You are directed that only evidence connected with the subject matter of these proceedings is to be given, and you are asked to respect the parliamentary practice to the effect of that. Where possible, you should not criticise nor make charges against any person, persons or entity by name or in such way as to make him, her or it identifiable. Excuse me. I also wish to advise you that the opening statement and any other documents you have submitted to the committee may be published on the committee website after this meeting. Members are reminded of the long-standing parliamentary practice to the effect that they should not comment on, criticise or make charges against a person outside the House or an official either by name or in such way as to make him or her identifiable. The presentation from the witnesses have already been circulated to the members. I remind the witnesses that their presentations should not exceed 10 minutes in duration. So to commence the discussion, I will now invite Mr Paul Kavanagh to make an opening statement.
Thank you. Can I start by thanking Deputy Seán Sherlock for allowing us to make this petition and wish his newborn son and his wife the very best. Thank you. I also wish to thank you, the Chair, Pat Buckley, for receiving us here today, and I now ask Tommy Lawton, our Chair, to read out our statement.
Thank you. There has been a wear for my Blackwater for the last 800 years since the Cistercian monks built their abbey, Santa Maria de Castro de Our Lady of the Camp of God, somewhere on what is now Ash Quay. Before the bridge crossed the river, the monks ran a ferry. Thomas Cromwell mentions the weir in 1540 in his inventory to Henry VIII, prior to the dissolution of the monasteries. Centuries after the abbey was lost in history, in 1791, the Scottish businessman John Anderson brought the old abbey lands and founded the modern town where he built the weir that exists today. The Minister for Transport, Tourism and Sports, Seán Ross, has said that the expressed ambition of the department which he manages is to increase participation and interest in sports, to improve standards of performance and to develop sports facilities at national, regional and local level, thereby contributing to a healthier lifestyle and improved overall quality of life through departmental policy and resource framework in partnership with its agencies, other government departments and national government bodies of sports. The reality, however, that several events planned for 2019 have been cancelled now, and the very existence of several clubs is seriously threatened. From my regatta will likely be cancelled for the first time in 80 years. 2 international triathlon events face cancellation, and Ireland's only Mark III wheelchair accessible boat cannot safely launch or dock, preventing people with varied levels of ability from appreciating our magnificent Blackwater River and its environments. This is a clear breach of European Convention on Human Rights for Disabled People. Basically, there are 2 issues with regard to Fermoy, a listed protected structure, which is the property and responsibility of Cork County Council. The breach and collapse of the Millrace Weir Wall. This occurred over the last 2 years. We believe resulted from and was directly caused by the flood works carried out by Lagan Construction, agents and servants of the OPW and the Office of Public Works. This work included an in-river road which was built abutting the weir and intensive pile driving into the riverbed. B. The damaged fish passes. No maintenance has been carried out in the weir or fish passes since the 1960s, and because of this neglect, the fish passes have deteriorated, fallen into significant disrepair, so much so the fish passes don't work adequately for fish migration. The middle race weir wall, we firmly believe this breach was caused by works carried out by the contractors Lagan Construction on behalf of the OPW during the flood works, with the building of an in-river road and intensive pile driving causing structural damage to the middle race wall. 2 years ago, a tree became lodged on this section of weir, and when it finally came loose, it took some of the weir cappings away with it. Thousands of trees have come down the river over the last 200 years, but this particular tree is being blamed solely for the recent unprecedented damage. During the flood works, the middle race weir wall was badly compromised as a result of the intensive pile driving and as a result of building an in-river road abutting the weir. The purpose of this in-river road was to facilitate the building of the new flood walls along O'Neill Crowley Quay. Thousands of tons of stone and rock were dumped into the river to create this road. This and the pile driving would have huge effects on the foundations and the structure of the weir. On the 23rd of January 2019, 30 metres of the middle race weir wall collapsed. The collapse occurred at the precise point where the in-river road was built and where the pile driving was carried out. We predicted this collapse when the fallen tree carried away some of the middle race wall cappings. Our clubs offered last summer to go in and effect a temporary repair on the breach. We were told then by Cork County Council, acting on advice of Inland Fisheries Ireland, that if we did so, we would face arrest and court proceedings. The fish passes, the problem for my damaged fish passes was highlighted in October 2003. Because that year was a dry summer, the first rise in water levels came in October when thousands of migrating salmon arrived at the weir. They could not migrate the damaged fish passes. In a futile effort to aid salmon passage, officials from the Southern Region Fishery Board breached the northwestern corner of the weir. Local anglers and the Southern Region Fishery Board officers netted salmon with landing nets and ferried some of these fish upriver. The Central Fishery Board and South Western Region Fishery Board were lobbied to fix the fish passes, and we believe that an outlay of around 60,000 would have repaired the fish passes at the time. In 2004, an anonymous complaint was made to the EU that fish migration was hampered at Fermoy Weir because of the damaged fish passes. In 2008, Inland Fisheries Ireland proposed to build a rock ramp pass structure which would replace Fermoy Weir. The Fermoy Weir is a protected structure, and locals protest that its removal could not be allowed. River users noted that the lower rock ramp pass structure would cause upstream water levels to drop to a point which would threaten the existence of some of our clubs. A fish pass bypass channel was then proposed, but we have never been given sight of any plans for this. A major concern with any proposed new structure would be to ensure that historic water levels upstream are maintained. During the flood works, Lagan Construction, under the instruction of IFI, drove piles into the side of the fish pass as a temporary repair measure to allow fish get up the fish pass. We believe the Central Fisheries Board and Inland Fisheries Ireland have failed to come up with a viable repair plan for my weir over the last 20 years, because the only real plan they had was to put in a rock ramp pass. This would have necessitated the removal of a protected structure which the people of my opposed outright. Just pass off to Paul there to finish.
So To take it on from there, and bearing in mind, Chair, what you said, here are some quotes from IFI and department officials. The most recent one being, the best thing that could happen is that the weir in Fermoy be swept away. We want to take away every weir in the country. The bulldozers are ready to move in, and last week we were never asked, nor did we ever stop a repair. So basically, we believe that the IFI are creating a smokescreen for the Minister. Fish stocks have been depleted by overfishing at sea against scientific advice. This is further supported by a recent article in the UK Independent, which states that wild salmon figures were way down in Scotland, blaming fish farming, drift netting and overfishing at sea as the main cause for river depletion. On the 30th of April, the Irish Times article reports that the IFI CEO, Ciarán Byrne, as saying the same factors are affecting populations of salmon in Ireland. Mortality at sea, climate change, and including rising water temperature and sea lice arising from fish farming. Dr. Byrne acknowledges that marine mortalities have reached 96%. So for every 100 salmon smolts leaving Irish rivers, up to 30 used to return to spawn. In recent years, that figure has reduced to 3 or 4, and this is the real crisis point. Official figures in Ireland for the River Blackwater put drift net fishing on average at 1,500 per annum, whereas unofficial figures are estimated to be significantly higher than this. The claim that the weir should be removed because it has prevented salmon from migrating upriver can be totally discredited by the fact that the official salmon surplus for the Blackwater in 2018-19 is in excess of 7,200 fish, which is back up to 2008 levels. Finally, we understand the proposal of a new fish bypass channel is being discussed and planned by IFI and Cork County Council. We have yet to see the plans of this channel despite several requests, and as a result have no idea of what is planned or what effects it will have on the future water levels upriver. We feel this new channel is unnecessary and a waste of taxpayers' money. So after all the above evidence, why is a weir that has functioned efficiently for over 200 years all of a sudden causing concern? We say, just repair it. In summary, what is required now? A repair of the weir needs to be carried out immediately without any further delay. Stone cages are a preferred water-filled boon, which is a water balloon sausage, should be installed upriver from the bridge to restrict water flow through the breach. This would cost in the region of €40,000 and will allow our clubs operate with some bit of normality next month. It will also allow free passage of salmon, shad, eel and lamprey. The disappearance of and damage done to the weir at O'Neill Crowley Quay, we believe, was caused once again by Lagan Construction on behalf of the OPW. Both of these bodies need to be compelled to repair and rebuild the weir. Surely they would have had an insurance bond for damage caused to the 200-year-old protected structure after their works. We suggest that this needs to be investigated immediately. Inland Fisheries Ireland are responsible for the free, unhampered passage of migrating fish. It is their responsibility to ensure that Cork County Council address the fish pest problem. The damage to the Mill Race weir wall and the damage to the fish passes, while two separate issues, need to be resolved simultaneously as part of a holistic repair of a 200-year-old listed, protected and historic structure. Nobody is confirming anything to us. It's all hearsay and rumour. We are not politicians. We are not civil servants. We are but volunteers, and we're worn down from all this running around that we are getting from the various authorities. You must petition Cork County Council and Inland Fisheries to attend before this committee.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Kavanagh and Mr. Lawton. Before I put it to the floor, I just want to ask the committee to agree to publishing this submission on the government website as well, if that's agreed.
Just make one comment in advance of that, if I may, just on that proposal itself.
Yeah.
Notwithstanding the excellent presentation that we had, I'd be just a small bit concerned that we have quotes attributed that we don't know who they're from, I know.
Say who they were from.
Right, okay.
But I can put names beside them if you want them.
I just wanted to protect you.
Oh no, two of them were in the Irish Examiner.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
But we can
No,
provide the names.
I'm just conscious that we have quotes that I want to protect you as well, just to make sure that you're...
Defamation.
Yeah.
Is that agreed? So if they can come.
Agreed,
You're agreed to that. Thanks very much. So I'll now call on the members to put their questions, and we'll probably give about 10 minutes to this as well. And whoever wants to go first, just indicate. And we'll go.
Just first of all, can I welcome the committee chairman? And I know that in the absence of the chair, this is a very important one, and I hope that we will keep the petition open. Could I just ask, in the context of the presentation and the ongoing issues here, and it is a very serious issue that has been, if you like, bedeviling the community, and I want to thank the group here and the members in the gallery. In terms of the engagement with Cork County Council, first of all, can I ask, has the County Council been in contact with the relevant Minister, Minister English, in regarding the proposal, and how is that progressing? Have we accosted the design stage, which I think we all need to see happen? I know from talking to the Minister, and I know Minister Moran has been down, I think Minister Coyne has been down. I know from talking to Power Driscoll that both of them have been in contact with many of you here, that there must be a tender process engaged in the awarding of the design stage. And I hope that we can see from today, given that there's a seriousness amongst us, in particular when I take the presentation that says, notwithstanding the issues about fish supply, that the regatta won't take place, which I think is in itself a damning indictment, and also the issue around the whole thing around fish supply and the fish pass. In terms of the question is, the temporary works you're saying, are you in favour of temporary works being done? Should it be done? I would be distressed, Sherlock, and disappointed if inland fisheries, in terms of the quotes attributed to them, that they're saying that they want to close every weir in the country, and that that the weir should be swept away. I don't know that we all agree with that, but anyway, and I just want to hope that we can see the funding through Cork County Council. The reason we're here today is because we're tired of the obfuscation. We want answers, and we want to support you. And I thank you for being here this afternoon.
In reply, a simple €40,000 boon, which is basically a large sausage half filled with water, right, would be put across two eyes of the bridge, would solve the immediate problem. We're saying 50,000 conservatively to be installed professionally. This boon could be used by Cork County Council's appointed contractors for the next number of years while they are carrying out repairs. So that's the very simple. That was ruled out of order when we proposed it last year. We haven't been afforded any meeting with the engineers of Cork County Council until as late as last Wednesday evening. We were offered a meeting on foot, I would say, of this petition. We couldn't attend. A number of people were out of the country. I myself was not. I was in Dublin, so we just couldn't facilitate that. We were told be in Cork at 2:30 and you'll get a hearing. That's it. We haven't got a hearing for 2 years, so I'm sorry, too late to hear. But the boon is the immediate answer to the people of Fermoy. That will save the regatta, and the fish will be able to migrate perfectly under the boon, which they will in any case, right? So, are we in favour of repair? Absolutely. A repair of this weir, and I have all the reports here from O'Connor and Sons, the experts who Cork County Council appointed in 2007, 2002, 2009, 2015, 17 and 18. Right? The last repair job was going to cost 715,000. Right? Here we are 12 months later and we're talking about 1.5 million for the repair. Okay, these are their figures. You are correct. It has gone out for tender for the architects and design. There was only one response came back, and that was from O'Connor. The architects, seemingly for whatever reason that hasn't been explained to us, that was rejected because there was one and one only. Maybe the price was too high, too low. We don't know. We weren't told. We do know it's gone back out for retendering. right? And that re-tendering is due back in 2 weeks' time. We will then have a better picture of the figures, right? When we have the figures, Cork County Council are saying they will pay half. The CEO of Cork County Council, Mr. Lucy, has agreed that he will pay half that amount. We have that. We got that through our councillors in the area 2 weeks ago. However, that's just for the design. Design. We're not even at a repair or any type of work, just the design. Then we met with the Minister, Pascal Donoghue, correct me, in Fermoy with Pa Driscoll a few weeks ago, and he said he would look seriously with the ministers, under Minister English and the other ministers that you mentioned, to see could they come up with the other half of that amount. When we get to that point, we're still only at design. What we're saying here is, lads, the river is gone. The weir will be gone, our livelihoods will be gone, the clubs will be gone. And I spoke to a gentleman outside there who came from Fermoy 30, 40 years ago, and he said he can't believe it has been left get to this state. It's really unfair, really and we're just getting the runaround, you know, and we're the volunteers from Cork County Council and Inland Fisheries. Inland Fisheries Ireland, we met them with Minister Coyne in Fermoy in November, and the repair wasn't even on the agenda, off the agenda completely. Inland Fisheries want the repair job and a brand new fish pass inside in what they call there in the notes the triangle field. I'm questioning, why would you ask Cork County Council to pay for a new fish pass? Surely that's the job of Inland Fisheries Ireland. Cork County Council should only be paying for the repair and refurbishment of the existing weir, and I'm sure they'd be quite happy to do that.
The other point, you know, the design stage, they're saying that they'll have half the money and government departments might come up with the rest, but that's the design stage. We are hearing back from the councillors locally that there is no money for the funding, for the full development from the council, from the councillors. This is what they're saying. There's no money there for to complete the full development.
So we really believe you need to get Cork County Council in here.
Like we're talking about €3.5 million for the full development with the fish pass and the weir repair. They're talking about €3.5 million, and this is what we're hearing back from the county council, from the councillors, that there is no money there for that.
And I have to go. My apologies, because I have to do the order of business in the Shannon. But just from the letter from Mr. Fogarty to the committee, which I'm not sure did you see or not before our meeting today, where he says that the estimates are provisional, but then he goes on to say that the county council cannot commit to the expenditure in the absence of a commitment to the 3.04 million. From my understanding, Minister Coyne, Canny, English are committed to the project. Am I right in that? They're committed to resolving the issue. Am I right in that?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
But not the funding.
So okay. So no, but the funding. Okay, but the funding part will have to come from both central government and local government. Yeah. But I think if I may make this final comment, and I have to apologise, Chairman, I think in the light of Mr. Kavanagh's, not Mr. Kavanagh, but Mr. Lawton's comments, I think we need to hear further from perhaps the county council as well. But can I just apologise, I have to leave, Chairman, but just to thank you for being here, and apologise I have to leave, and thank you for your work, and I know that it is an important issue. And I think, Chairman, the petition itself highlights the importance of the committee in allowing this petition to be kept open as well. Thank you.
Deputy O'Keefe?
Can I, as a member of the committee, just make a very brief comment? I'm not from your part of the country, I'm from the west of Ireland, but apart from being a member of the committee, I'm the Fianna Fáil spokesman on the OPW and flood relief. Look, it's obvious listening to you that this is something you're very passionate about and something that's very important to your part of the country. The overall costing of, according to the authorities here, is 4.5 million. Is that correct? Or do you question that figure?
Question that figure.
Okay. So you were saying that there is no need to put in the fish pass?
No. If the fish pass is not going in, you're at a costing of between 1 and 1.5 million.
Okay.
If the fish pass is to go in, we don't know because we haven't even seen the design of it, even though we believe that they do have those documents and have them in their possession for at least 2 years.
Okay. Am I right in saying that consultancy fees, did I say consultancy fees, what, 300?
It's not, that's another contentious issue.
Allegedly
We believe
300,000.
that the estimate was 400,000. We believe when the first tender came in, there was only one, as I mentioned, and it came in higher. We now believe the figure is closer to 525,000 plus VAT. So the last time I went to school, that's about 650,000. So, you know, we don't know what's happening and how much of that relates to the new fish pass and how much relates to the repair. We are asking Cork County Council that we be allowed to meet the architects and engineers in advance of any decision being made on how to go forward. I believe Cork County Council are being forced by Inland Fisheries Ireland to put in a new fish pass, which we believe is not required.
And can you further explain to me, as again, I don't know the ins and outs of this business as such, but why do you say the fish pass is not needed? Why do you think the fish pass is not needed?
The new one?
Yes.
Because you'll have duplication. If you repair and renovate the current one, you could actually create a new one below at the other end, but there's no need. This is, I don't know how to describe it. You're building a brand new building next door because this one might get overcrowded at some stage. It doesn't make any sense. Record numbers of salmon are going up the river. We've proven that. The whole thing is a smoke screen. If only 3 out of 100 salmon are coming back in and they're all getting up, what's the problem? I would say to you, you're from the west of Ireland, if I said to you all the clubs in Galway had to shut down because we're taking out Galway ware, you'd have a major upheaval inside in the city of Galway.
Just in relation to an alleged comment that somebody allegedly said, we want to remove every weir in the country.
Yeah.
What do you think the reasoning for that is? Why do you think they're saying that?
Because that will just further their thought that they believe that all weirs are a hindrance to the passage of migrating fish. All weirs, that's their theory. Now I would say to you there's serious evidence out there that disputes that, including their own CEO's statement that only 3 to 4 out of every 100 comes back in. The real problem is in the estuaries. The real problem is in the fish farms. The real problem is with fishing at sea. That's where the problems are. And to be blaming us and to be making us pay for their mistakes is wrong. Totally wrong. And we're the people that know the river. I'm on the river all my life, Tommy's on the river all his life. We know the river backwards, and we know that the river is at the lowest level it has ever been since the existence of a weir that was built by John Anderson before 1800. I rest my case.
And finally, and again, the reason I'm asking the questions is I know you're the people on the ground there, and I very much, you know, in other parts of the country, I see practicalities come out from people like you, so that's why I'm only trying to inform myself. Now, are you seriously saying that 40,000, 50,000 could solve this? And the authorities are saying it's going to cost 4.5 million?
I'm seriously saying that for 40,000, 50,000 we can get people from the UK to professionally install a boom across part of the river that is causing the trouble, that will slow down the water and give us back our water levels for the summer. That same boom will need to be used when the repair work is taking place. But they won't even consider that. In other words, we're just being pushed aside like we're upstarts or something. We're the people on the river.
So you're saying that would be a temporary measure?
Temporary, oh yeah, absolutely. Or a repair, a proper repair, rejuvenation, call it what you like. I mean, you're not going to knock down Dáil Éireann. You will repair it and rejuvenate it and put in the proper windows and structures and lintels into that building. You don't knock it down and build another one.
And finally, in your estimation, how much do you think it would cost to repair it? Roughly? 1
million.
Okay, thank you.
That's a temporary measure. That boom is a temporary measure.
Yep.
And it's only so that all clubs can exist and continue with the regatta and the swims and the wheelie boat, just to keep those people, those clubs alive. Otherwise, if they die, they're gone. The river dies then, the community dies in for miles, so that's the problem.
Thank you.
Deputy O'Keefe, we'll be waiting patiently.
Maybe Brendan is a member of the committee, is he? Are you a member? No, thank you, Deputy. Chairman, thank you, and I welcome the crew here from I, and excuse me for the pun, but I suppose the first question is, who wanted the weir before for my council took it over? Who wanted the weir?
Before Cork County Council?
No, before for my town council.
Town Council, it was owned by Anthony Carroll and Sons. Carlton House was the official name on the owners.
Right.
So if you go back to 1920, and there was none of us around then, the whole town of Fermoy was sold by Abercrombie to Mr. Anthony Carroll.
1919, yeah.
1919. So the whole town was sold at the time.
1988.
Including the weir, the park, you name it. Every place, every ground rent in the town.
1988, then I believe that Fermoy Urban Council then bought the weir, Fermoy Bridge, the roads, the quays from Carlton House for around 500 euros.
They bought the weir as well?
They bought, yeah.
They did, yeah.
And is there other towns in the country, or other rivers in the country where the local authorities own the weir?
Well, the state would own.
Well, the OPW own most of them.
If I would own the likes of probably Galway and Mayo and places like that, the Rich Pool and Mayo and places like that. But I don't know who the exact owners would be. Right. No. When I come in here is responsibility, and obviously I served in Cork County Council, and I was there when the transition from the abolishment of town councils, and Cork County Council took over the local towns, municipal districts, and I put my hand up. I don't think the Cork County Council realised when they took over the running for my town council that they actually had the responsibility of the weir in possession as well. And I've seen down the last couple of years before we've got to the minister last year that there was departments in Cork County Council trying to decide which one was responsible for the weir, because it was unique to the portfolio of responsibilities outside of water, housing and other services. So, moving on, not too long ago, I met a retired former fisheries official, and he says, "I see you're still haggling over the for my weir." I said, yes, trying to come to an agreement. He says, there was money being offered down 3 years, and to get all the parties to agree is a big problem in Fermoy. And that's why it's a pity, that we have ourselves here today, that we haven't got the owners. Cork County Council should be here. Because, in fairness, I'm in the opposition, in fairness, Minister Seán Sherlock did come down from my request and other members' requests to Fermoy. He met yourselves, he met other groups, and he said, put a package together, and central government should be in a position to make money available. And there is mechanisms where money can be drawn down, be it on the river basin issue, be through various initiatives. It can be drawn down. And the issue we have here is, it's been thrown back at me here in Dara until the local authority comes up and meets the department officials. We're going nowhere. We're here, in fairness, behind me as well, I know the whole story, know the history, know what's required, whatever. But until we get Cork County Council in situ with the department officials, I don't care at this stage which department officials, it could be the department of Taoiseach, for all I care, to sit down and finalise what we're going for. As you said, Mr. Cabra, you're totally against the extension of the fish pass to the right, aren't you?
Building a brand new one, yes.
And
I don't think there's any need. Build it away. If you've got 2 million to throw at it.
Well, I know, and I don't profess to be a professional.
I think it's clouding the whole issue.
Yeah.
Making a figure, as your colleague on your right said, is it 4 million? Is it 4.5 million? What figure are we talking about?
We don't know until...
I'm looking at repair costs here of 60,000 back in 2008.
Yes.
I'm looking at figures of 80,000 in 2010, and the figure is now rising. And last year's repair from O'Connor and Sons was 700,000. So the thing is getting worse, and as according as it gets worse. But you see, inland fisheries don't want a repair. Inland fisheries want this brand new, super duper fish pass built.
Right,
The local
right.
fishermen, I'm not a fisherman, Tommy is,
Okay,
the local fishermen...
Can I come in that sector, the chair?
Yeah, but Deputy, the local fishermen tell me that the fish won't go up this new fish pass. You can't force salmon up a new fish pass. You can't.
I know that, and I'm not...
They have eyes, but they can't see.
I'm not disagreeing with whatever, but the question I put to Paul and Tom is, when we raise the issue that the clump fish salmon pass can be repaired and be usable, they refer to other species of fish migrating as well.
Yeah. I acknowledge them. They're called eel. All the eels, I got the question this morning from a scientist in Wales, and I told him that the eels were being ate by the otters, because we've got 3 otters on the weir, and also by the birds of prey, cormorants, who should be actually taken out. They're taken out in the UK. So they're making sure the eels don't get up, not the weir. Shad and lamprey, we have plenty of it up the river. We have abundance of it. We have a surplus of 7,200 salmon up the river this year, confirmed. Right? Everything is rosy in the garden. Repair the weir. Get Cork County Council in here. If we didn't have this petition, Chairman, we'd have no power to try and... This would be done and dusted, dead, because we're just fobbed off at every single opportunity. And we were delighted when Minister Coyne came, but sure, the minute Minister Coyne left the room, we were left with an IFI official who basically is a civil servant speaking to other civil servants. He actually said to them, lads, I don't really blame you. You have to go home at 5 o'clock every evening. I rest my case.
When Minister Seán Coyne came down to us, since then everything is deteriorating every day as we speak. Like, there's stones and rocks and everything disappearing off of that weir because of the force of water being tunnelled down a narrow channel now. Like, and just to harp back with something that you mentioned there earlier as well about the fish passes, I really believe that it's the neglect that was the neglect of keeping the weir and the fish passes in good repair down over the last 40 years. That's the major cause of the problems now that we have, you know, with fish, trying to get up those fish passes and things like that, like, because they've gone into such disrepair, like they're not viable for any fish migration now anymore, like.
Deputy Ryan, you waited patiently there.
Chair, I'd like to welcome the group and congratulate you on your comprehensive presentation to us. My quick count here would indicate there's probably 12 groups involved, roughly, in your... Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, but in terms of the question I'm just going to put to you is, in relation to your dealings with both Cork County Council and Inland Fisheries Ireland, do you believe you're getting due respect as people who
Absolutely
are
not.
Stakeholders there?
Absolutely not. They will only speak, the Cork County Council will only speak through the councillors. We were rejected a meeting 2 weeks ago that was proposed, and it was rejected. They said local politics is a matter for you to meet the local representatives at local level.
And are the councillors not in a position to get you guys in a room with the officials?
No, they weren't able to. No, as I said, and it needs to be noted, we were offered a meeting last Wednesday when 2 of our people were out. I was in Dublin, and 2 of our members that are here today were out of the country. I wasn't going in there on my own.
But before that, you talked about a 2-year...
2 years, for at least 2 years.
Okay.
But to put it in perspective, this has been... I've records here going back to 2002. We had to go to Brussels to prove them wrong the last time, and we did prove them wrong. We got the weir actually officially protected, listed, historic. This is total negligence by Cork County Council and from my town council over a number of years. This is pure negligence. If I owned a protected, listed and historic building here in Dublin, I'd probably be in Mountjoy at this stage if I was the owner of it and did nothing.
How time critical would you say the solution to this is? And linked to that is, look, the timelines we're talking about, the design and then the work itself.
Okay, the correct answer to that is if we got the boon in 2 weeks' time, if we got the boon in, we will save the summer. We will give the engineers and architects time to put their plans together. It will give us time to talk with the various groups, and you to talk to the various groups, and the ministers to talk to the various groups about what is the actual solution here. Is it repair and refurbishment, or is it repair and refurbishment plus a new weir?
So the boon will save the summer and give you space to get the proper
So 50,000 will save the summer.
15,000.
50.
Okay.
35,000 sterling is the estimate we have on the boon. With all due respect, it could be one down in another part of the country at the moment being used that could be used for nothing.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but there's a cloak of silence over all of this, and Cork County Council are hiding behind the fact, the officials and engineers are hiding behind the fact that they're saying the Fisheries Board will not accept a repair on its own, and we have to break that deadlock. If they want to build their fish pass afterwards, and if the Oireachtas want to pay for it, well and good. I've no problem. I will live with a new fish pass. It'll be beautiful.
Okay, just two final linked questions. In relation to IFI and Cork County Council, are they on the same page, or are they in conflict?
I think.
But just before you come back to me on that, in relation to summary there, we said number C. Inland Fisheries Ireland are responsible for free unhampered, so it is their responsibility to ensure Cork County Council address the fish pass problems. Does IFI have the authority to direct the County Council based on your information?
I believe they would, because their responsibility is to the fish. Yeah. And it should lay with them to push Cork County Council on, you know. But we've had meetings with IFI, and we got bylaws in at the bridge there the last couple of years. So they've been helpful in that regard. But trying to get anything done, we don't know what's happening. That's where it basically lies. Okay. We don't know what the plans are. We don't know. The estimates are through the roof. You know.
It's important that this process continues if you're to achieve your objectives. Really.
Absolutely. We need this petition to remain open. If you may, Chairman, and you can tell me I'm right or wrong, but I'm reading from the Irish Examiner, dated the 19th of April 19. Can I quote that?
You can, of course.
Okay. In that, Mr. Seán Long, Director of South Western Fisheries Basin District of Inland Fisheries Ireland, states IFI has not received any requests from Cork County Council to undertake any works as of this date.
Deputy with that.
So, just to finish on the points you were talking about, saving the summer and saving this and that, we're trying to save our clubs at this stage.
Yeah, I understand.
And I mentioned there said a dozen clubs that we have, 2,000 members probably between us. But we've all our families that are indirectly involved in as well. So it's a huge number of people that will be affected. If the clubs go, you know.
I have used the analogy in the past that if your car broke down tomorrow morning and you couldn't get to Dáil Éireann, would you buy a new car? You might think that would be your ultimate goal eventually. Do you know what? I'll have to get a new car eventually, but if I could get the old one repaired for now, wouldn't it keep me going? Inland Fisheries Ireland want a new car. They want a new fish pass and nothing else will do them. Well, I'm sorry, lads, you'll have to hold back for a small bit.
But to your question, the wife might see it as an opportunity to get a new car.
True.
Just very briefly, Deputy O'Keefe.
Two questions. And the issue I've been happy on myself, the OPW and the contractors, I do agree, must feel responsible for the structural damage to the mill race wall, right? One question I've on that, was there other structural damage done within the town during those works? Could you...
We understand that there was, and we understand that compensation was paid, but we understand that all those recipients signed non-disclosure agreements. And when we asked them, can't talk about that.
Yeah, because I did ask that question to the Minister, and he said
Yeah.
there was no claims, right?
Yeah. But
The
there must be a account somewhere. Someone had to pay it.
Yeah. The second question is, with the incorporating the inland fish, fish pass, right? Can that be done and still maintain the existing structure that will, and upgrade the existing structure? Can that be done? Can it be done together? Can that?
Well, you see,
And keep everybody happy?
yeah, my point about, right, the weir is a protected structure,
Yeah.
as it is. Right, so my thinking of that's going to have to go back the same way,
Yeah.
you know, that it's already built. So you're going to have still the fish passes there. You're going to have the grain passes, you're going to have the pool passes, and several other different type of fish passes, eel passes and everything on that weir, which will be all newly replaced. And then you'll have another new fish pass out. So it's going to work against it, because they're going to have to try and control water going down this new one and stop water coming down the old fish passes.
Do you get the point? You'd nearly want traffic lights there saying salmon this way, lads, and eels, you go over there, and lamprey, you can't get up here now because we haven't enough water, and you can't get up the new salmon pass. We don't know where you're going to go.
And it means manual supervision as well, of course.
Like if they rebuild that weir, you'll have all the old fish passes back in,
Yeah.
and then you'll have a new one. So how are you going to direct the water to manage all of these places? You can't be done, like.
Deputy?
Chair,
It is very, very frustrating, and look, I want to say on my own behalf, just welcome you here today. Thank you for an extremely comprehensive report, and I know the work that you've done on it. I think we've had a lot of, even at Cork County Council level, we've had a lot of arguments that local knowledge are the local experts, and you're the local experts. And I mean, from listening to you and listening to the questions and debates inside here today, sometimes it feels like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is talking to, and the front of somebody's head is talking to the back of another's. I know there's been a lot of money's been banded around, a lot of figures between the 4.5 million and estimated 200 million. But on my other sphere in mental health, preventative and proactive are a lot better than the panic station and reactive. And I'm very interested on that fish boom, that water boom that you're on about. I mean, I'm well aware that you must have 12, 13, 14 sub-aqua clubs on that, but it's not just for it's the River Blackwater right down to the Youghal Estuary. And I mean, it's all the different businesses, and between your sports, your tourism, fishing, well aware of the rowing clubs and so on and so forth. And I think, you know, there's a number of stakeholders being mentioned in this, and certainly from the amount of work that has to be done, I would be very, very nervous that once something is gone, it's gone. And as you said a while ago, that if you can put in this boom, it brings the water level back up, it lets everything on one side of the river continue as normal, temporary, so be it, but it gives the opportunity for everything to work the way it should be working. I certainly do think that the likes of Cork County Council, the Inland Fisheries, the Department of Housing Planning Local Government, the OPW, the construction companies that you're there, there's a big, big pot there. But certainly, someone is going to have to bring them all in and sit down and get a solution, because that's what you're actually giving. I know it might be a temporary one. Others are coming up with long-term solutions, but they're 4.5 million. So we'll be making a proposal here, or I'll be making a proposal to the committee members. Yes.
are you in a position to invite
I was just coming to say we will be making a decision. I will be putting proposals to the committee very, very shortly on bringing, you can put it now, if I can, while you're here, because it is in public session. And actually, it's for the petition concerns the from my weir on the River Blackwater in County Cork. We have had members that contributed, and the proposals is to request observations from the relevant stakeholders on the evidence provided at today's meeting, to invite the relevant stakeholders to a public session of the committee to consider this matter further, including officials from Cork County Council, the Department of Communications, Climate Action and Environment, the Inland Fisheries Ireland, the Department of Housing, Planning and Local Government, the Office of Public Works, Lag and Construction, the National Parks and Wildlife Service, which is part of the Heritage Division of Department of Arts, Heritage, Regional, Rural and Gaeltacht Affairs. And also we want to forward a copy of the response from Cork County Council to the petitioner and inform the petitioned that the petition will remain open. I could actually call in a vote on that, if the members would agree on that.
It's the one you're adding the joke of Devon, sure?
Is that a proposal?
No.
But is it agreed?
Agreed, yes, agreed. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Can I just, in conclusion, just say, because you do have another hat to wear, and I know that you have other work to do, but we are the only town in Ireland with a Mark III wheelchair accessible boat, which cannot safely launch or dock at the moment, preventing people with varied levels of ability from appreciating our magnificent river, its habitats and environs. This is a clear breach of the EU Convention on Human Rights for Disabled Persons. I mean, what more pressure can we put on?
Absolutely. So is that agreed? Just to put that into record.
A brief question that I just need to get clarity on. If you say the boom will save the summer, what's the timeline on that? You know, how soon would you need to have the boom in place to save the summer?
We would need it in the next month, the next 4 weeks.
Okay.
But there is a company that does. That's all they do in the UK, and if you want it, they'll have it in within a week, right? As I said, I have no doubt that they are available in the country as we speak, because there are jobs now finishing in Skibbereen and Bandon, where flood relief works were taking place, and I'm sure there is equipment there that could be used, and there'd be no cost. So that would get us going, at least.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Is that agreed? Agreed. I just want to, because I'm conscious of time, because we've other committees as well. Finally, I'd just like to thank Mr. Paul Kavanagh and Tommy Lawton for coming here today and for making your presentation, and a very thorough one, and for engaging with the committee. And we'll now give you the opportunity and a bit of time to allow you to take leave, I suppose, of your seats for the moment. You're very welcome to sit in the public gallery. We just have a number of more petitions that we want to go through. Thank you. Yeah, we have two more. I haven't closed yet, Deputy. You're in trouble. We still have some consideration of public petitions. None of them here in front of us today. The committee will now make a formal decision on 3 petitions. The first petition, 6.1 petition P0007/19 from Professor Terence Duffy. The decision was that we proposed that we forward a copy of the response from the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade to the petitioner and close that petition. Is that agreed?
Agreed, yes.
Second petition is in the name of Mr. Grant Jackson. It was proposed that we forward a copy of the response from the Department of Justice and Equality to the petitioner and close that petition. Is that agreed? And finally, I'd like to thank you all today for the attendance at this meeting, and I propose that the committee adjourn on Wednesday, the 19th of June at 1:30. Is that agreed? Agreed. Good meal, Margaret. Meeting adjourned.